In September of 2024, it was a Saturday and I had just finished a CMA revision class. I was on my way home walking out of the academy when I was passing by one of the training rooms. The whiteboard in the training room was filled with CMA related formulas in neat handwriting, which told me that someone had been spending a lot of time preparing for the CMA exams. Fast forward 4 months, and that person has passed the CMA exams and is here today to share her journey, her experiences, and to share with you some tips and tricks and advice so that you may pass your CMA exams as well. I have with me Leila Lazard, who took the CMA program with us at PwC Academy. And it's my great pleasure to welcome her back to the Academy to share her experiences so that we may learn from her journey as well. Leila, welcome.
Thank you.
It's really good to have you back and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So I remember in our conversations, you mentioned that the CMA program was something that you were interested in for a very long time. And you've made a lot of effort to be here at the academy to study for the CMA program. Can I ask you specifically what about the CMA program interested you?
Yes, so I've actually indeed wanted to pursue the CMA certification for a while since I came back from the US from a 1 year exchange program. I looked up at a different option to continue learning because I realized that there was some gaps in my finance degree, and I needed more practical knowledge. And and so that's one reason. Another reason is that I've grown so much during that year in the US, and I wanted to keep growing and pursue a career internationally. And the CMA is a globally recognized certification. Um, so that's another reason. And lastly, I would say confidence. I'm needing more confidence uh, in my knowledge, and that's what the CMA does. It actually gives you a lot of confidence.
That's very interesting to hear. And that's so true because CMA has been around for a really long period of time. And if you are in the business of financial planning and analysis, if you want to get into the agenda of the CFO, the CMA qualification is quite well positioned to get you the attention, the skills, and the competencies that you need. So, Leila, my next question to you is out of the many training providers who are in the region, you pick PwC Academy. What influenced your decision to choose the academy and make your way to us?
So PwC is really well recognized worldwide. So that was one of the reason. But also it offers flexibility. Like we could take classes on site, which is something I've really wanted to do because I wanted to exchange with other students and have like face-to-face conversation. But also if we couldn't manage to be at the academy, we could have classes online. So that's really something great to have this flexibility from people that are working, cannot commute to the academy.
One of the things that we are really proud of our program is that in Dubai, especially in the UAE, people have a rather busy career. And we don't have many school leavers coming to the CMA program, but what we do have is busy executives who take the CMA program. So, balancing the time, the effort, the work, and personal commitments is something critical. And that's one of the reasons that we have three options for the same class. You can attend in person at the academy. You can take the live online classes where the same physical class is being projected online. And of course, if you do miss both options, then the classes are recorded and uploaded on your own personal learning management system. So later you made a decision to come to the academy. And how was your actual experience? Because you would have had expectations when you came to the academy. And how was the reality of your experience?
It was a great experience, and I want to thank you for this because um, the tips that you give every single class, after every single class, we have conversation, and you give us strategy to excel. And I found as soon as I met you, honestly, that you had genuine interest to help every student pass this certification, uh, teaching us everything you know. So really, thank you for that. This is the greatest thing that I gained from this experience. And also, the reason why I wanted to come to the class physically was to meet other people that had the same aspiration. And I've made like strong connection. We had study session, like you said, in the academy. That's another thing that was great. The facility, we had access to study rooms to study together. So that's great, to this library, which is really comfortable. So all of that, but
That's phenomenal. So we want to make this a learning experience. We want to make this a learning journey. In other words, it should be something that you look back and you look upon as something that helped you to grow personally and professionally as well. Because you meet a group of peers in your CMA class, and over the course of the next few years, if you want to make a business connection, if you want to make a business solution, it would help if you could pick up the phone and call one of your classmates and say, you know what, let's make a solution together. The CPA program requires its candidates to have a bachelor's degree. So I'm sure that when you completed your bachelor's degree, you had a certain way of approaching the studies. Leila, how was it different when you came to the CMA program from a bachelor's degree, as in from an academic background to studying for a professional qualification? Was there a difference, and how did you manage to bridge this difference between a university studying experience and studying for a professional qualification where a lot of the work was on you itself?
yes, that's true. There's a big difference between a bachelor degree and a professional certification. Um, the main difference is that when you study for a bachelor degree, memorization is key. So it's enough to just memorize everything, and you know you have this exam coming up, so you prepare for it. But here, memorizing everything is not enough. You have to actually deeply understand the concept and be because the way the questions are asked really that it's actually practical questions, scenarios in real life. So you have to be able to apply everything that you know in those specific scenarios. You have to choose the proper strategy. Uh, so that's why it's so different, and that memorizing is not enough. You have to actually uh,
Apply. That's so true.
apply.
So, if you were to summarize that into one word, that would probably be application. Because when we come from a bachelor's degree experience, a lot of the time it tends to be academic in nature. But when you come to the CMA program, it is all about the application. In other words, it's not enough to know what you know, you also need to know how to apply what you know, which is something really, really crucial. And that leads me to my next question, and this is with regard to the time and the effort commitment. Very often, with the CMA exam, because it's a professional qualification, we get people who have a lot of work commitments, personal commitments, travel commitments, and I'm sure you would have faced the same. How did you manage to budget for your time and energy when you were studying for the CMA exams?
Yeah, I would say the main thing is to assess all the materials and all the questions you will have to do for your training, and then make a plan to make sure that you have enough time to go through all of them. So organization is key, and consistency. So just keep doing it and dedicate some time. So it's only a question of time. There is nothing that cannot be learned. So it's just really putting some time.
I like that word consistency because very often in a qualification, someone might assume it's flashes of brilliance that makes you pass. Not really. It's the consistent discipline of doing a little bit every day, making sure that you're on top of the material on a weekly basis that gets you that success in 3 months' time when you sit for the exam. My my next question leads to the practical applicability of the knowledge that you gained. So, do you feel, Leila, that the knowledge that you got from the CMA program would help you when you are in a career in finance and when you're managing a particular business or a department, what practical learnings did you take away from the CMA syllabus?
So many things, I would say. So what the CMA does, it gives you confidence in strategic decision making, which is having an overall picture about an organization, a company, is very important, and that's what the CMA does. And I think um, if I worked for 10 years in the same position, I would not have learned half of the things that I've learned in pursuing this certification. So that's why getting the CMA for me is so valuable. And uh,
That's a very interesting insight because very often we assume that if I work for long enough, I should be able to gain the knowledge that I have. In this era where we have things like DeepSeek and ChatGPT and generative AI, a variety of these tools where intelligence is becoming sped up in terms of solutions, for the human intelligence, it becomes really important that we are able to contribute that extra 5 or 10% that helps us to stand apart from the crowd. My final question to you, Leila, is that there's probably someone out there watching this video, watching this podcast, and going, this is what I needed to hear, and this is what would help me to pass my CMA exams. For you, the question that I want to ask from Leila is, from your journey, what are the key tips that you would like to share with someone who is taking the CMA exam right now?
okay, so if this person is actually taking the CMA exam, so she made the right decision. I've waited a lot of time for those. So for those who are uh, considering it and not feeling not ready yet, I would say just do it. Don't wait. I can only regret not doing it sooner. And so when you don't have to wait to be ready. And there's nothing, like I said, that you cannot learn. So you just dedicate a little bit of time to learning every day and you'll get there. So consistency, like we said, and organizing your time is really important. Uh, Planning things ahead, making sure you know what's coming, like what's next. Because there's one mistake that I made when I started studying. I just was going through the material chapter after chapters, and it's only a few weeks before the exam that I realized how much I had to cover because I did not do that assessment of the material and planning ahead. So that's one tip that I will give.
I'm sure that's a very, very useful tip. And my final question is this. When you got that email that said, Leila, congratulations, you have passed the CMA exam, how did you feel? And would you like to share that feeling with whoever's listening to us as well?
I felt fantastic. I felt really good. It boosts my confidence, and that's, I think, very important. I was happy and shocked. I even texted you. I cannot believe it. I passed, uh, but you were confident that I would, and I'm really thankful for this. Because I remember when I took the exam that day, I think I changed with the team, telling them about how it was, because I like the fact that you guys always get in touch with us, try to know like where we at in the progress. And when I took the exam, I felt like I failed. But I remember that you told me, you took the time to uh, give me more confidence and to keep going, and that it was just one step. It's part of the process, I guess.
And it's only the start of a very long and successful professional journey as well. That brings us to the end of our conversation, and this is something that we've done to encourage, inspire, and motivate you who are sitting for the CMA exams, because it is something of a prestigious qualification that anyone who wants to put in a little bit of time, energy, effort, and dedication can get it. The ability to call yourself a certified management accountant, a global finance professional, is something worth aspiring to. If it's easy, everyone would have it. But for those of you who put in the time, energy, effort, and commitment required, it's an achievement for life and it is something that you can be proud of. Leila, thank you so much for making it today and thank you for sharing your experiences I'm sure that someone out there, many people out there, would be thankful to hear from someone who has been there and done that and got the email as well. Thank you, and I wish you the best on your journey.